Hey guys, Simon and Alex here from Top Tennis Training. Our partners Pro Direct Tennis have just sent us another racket to review, so here it is.
We will be reviewing the Dunlop CX 200 Tour racket. This is a racket that Kevin Anderson uses, and I'm excited to test it out. Thanks, man. So we've just tested out the Dunlop CX 200 Tour. Initial thoughts on the design of the racket, Alex?
So it looks like a really classic looking racket.
Yes.
Like the beam is thin, it's the same all the way through.
The black and red
color
as well.
scheme, black and red. It's
Yep.
not overly in your face, but it has this kind of classy feel. Old school, like the rackets that you kind of expect from the older
90s
generation play, and it's almost like they've brought that look back.
Almost the retro
yeah,
style,
and I think it works. It really does.
What about power? How did it feel on the baseline for your forehand and your backhand?
So for me, in terms of power, I didn't feel like they gave me a lot of power. So I wouldn't say this is a power racket, it's more of a control racket. So for players who can hit through the ball a lot already, they're looking to control that ball. For me, I like to get a lot of power out of my rackets, so I didn't feel like that gave me enough. So for me, I'd have to string this really loose to get anything out of the racket. Like I was hitting a little bit against the wind, and the moment I was hitting against the wind, all the balls were landing really short. I just didn't feel like I could hit through the ball. It made me force the shots, just because I'm simply not used to it. I like kind of a smooth feel where I don't go for as much off my arm and my body, but I want the racket to do a little bit for me. So for me, it didn't quite do that in terms of power.
What about topspin?
For topspin, again, I didn't, because of that racket head size,
a little bit smaller. Yes,
I feel like it didn't give me that much bite and didn't give me that much
doesn't grip the ball as much.
I tried to go for some shape, especially if I was pushed back, and I tried to get a little bit higher. I felt my balls were going really low, so perhaps it suits someone who's more of a flat hitter, flat powerful hitter, more of like a Del Potro kind of player.
Yes.
I know that Anderson uses it, those flat hitters that hit through the shots, that have long levers, looking for that control. I'd say that's the racket for them. I play a little bit more spinny from the back, someone who's like a bit more of a grinder kind of game style. I wouldn't say that's the racket for you.
Yes. What about control at the net on the volleys?
So on the volleys, really good. I don't know what you thought. I felt great on the volleys.
Yeah,
so this racket really shines when you come to the net. So if you are a player that comes forward,
serve and volley, this would be a great racket for a serve and volley.
Because it's a little bit stiffer, you really feel the shots.
Exactly.
And because you can afford to string it a little bit looser, you really feel like the ball doesn't leave the strings too quick, and you have a lot of control on that racket.
It's almost like you're guiding the ball. You feel exactly what you're doing with the racket head.
Yeah,
it's giving you that control.
And it didn't feel like you launched the ball. So sometimes when you at the net, if the ball hits the racket and you don't quite like hit it perfect, sometimes it goes out, it strays out. This racket didn't do that, because maybe of its stiffness level. It felt like I could just hit through it, and I didn't worry about the ball drifting out, and I could give enough slice, enough bite on it. It was a great racket in terms of volley, so great for the volley. Amazing.
What about the serving?
Serving, I thought it gave me quite a lot of power on the flat serve.
Definitely.
But I felt like the kick serve, it almost felt like I couldn't bring it down early enough. Like it was just drifting a little bit on my kick serve. I don't know if it's to do with just the stiffness of the racket, or because I had to string it a little bit looser. But I felt like I just couldn't bring it down. I felt like I was having to take off a little bit on my serve and go for more spin. I didn't feel comfortable with my second serve, but the first serve was pretty good. It actually felt more powerful than I thought it would. After having hit ground strokes, it actually felt okay on the serve.
Travels through the air quite quickly
because it travels through the air, and it's quite I'd say it's quite heavy feeling racket. So
you feel what you're doing.
So it did give me a little bit of power on the serve, but not on those slice or top spins. I felt like it just didn't give me quite enough on that. What did you think? What about for you on the ground strokes?
So on the ground strokes, for me, when you get it in the sweet spot, it feels really good. And someone who likes to hit through the ball a lot flatter, like Alex said, really extend out through the contact zone, it does give you that power when you time it well, when you hit the sweet spot. If you do hit it off center though, it's very unforgiving. You feel the shot, you feel the
vibrations,
going through your arm. So if you are someone who's more of a grinder, like Alex said, probably this racket wouldn't suit you. But if you are someone who likes to play a little bit more inside the court, aggressive tennis, taking the ball on the rise, flattening out the shot and coming to net, then this racket may suit your game really well. Now on the volleys, for me, like Alex said, it feels fantastic on both sides. And on the serve, if you time it well and you have that racket head speed going through the contact zone, you get a lot of pop. Like Alex said also though, with the spin serves, you do lose a bit with this racket.
So what would you give it out of 10? For me, being that power hitter, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10, simply because I prefer to have slightly more powerful racket. But I did feel great when I came forward to the net, so perhaps it evens it out a little bit at that point, but for me it's a 6.
So I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I really love the feel that it gives me at the net. I like the feel on the slice and also on the serve as well. But on the ground strokes you do lose a bit of power, but I'm willing to sacrifice that power on the baseline to get better feel at the net.
So important question, Simon. Simon's been using the older version. He uses an old Dunlop.
Yes.
I've seen that racket. It's falling apart. It's got cracks all over the top. He scraped it many times. Are you going to be switching to this racket?
100%.
So Simon's switching to that racket. I'll give my one to him. He can play with it.
Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Also leave a comment down below. Did you enjoy this review? What kind of racket would you like us to review next? Would you like us also to review strings or shoes or any type of tennis equipment? Leave that comment down below and see you soon.